Hey there and welcome. Let's talk about a word you hear all the time, entrepreneurship. But what does it really mean? I mean, who are these people? And maybe more importantly, why should any of us care? Well, we're going to break it all down. So, right off the bat, who actually is an entrepreneur? Is it just someone with a cool idea for an app? Or the person who starts a killer food truck? Or is there something, I don't know, deeper going on? That's exactly what we're here to figure out. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get a really clear definition. Then, we'll look at two different kinds of innovators you might not know about. After that, we'll get into the DNA, the actual traits of a successful entrepreneur. And finally, we'll see why all of this has such a huge impact on the world.
Okay, first stop. Let's build a solid foundation here. If you strip away all the hype, all the buzzwords, what is entrepreneurship at its absolute core?
Here it is. This is the definition you really need to remember. At its heart, entrepreneurship isn't some lightning strike of genius. It's a process. It's about creating new value by pulling together a unique mix of resources, all to go after an opportunity. Now, those four pieces are absolutely crucial, so let's break them down one by one. So this definition gives us four powerful ingredients. First up, thinking of it as a process is huge because it means it's not magic. It's something you can learn and manage. Second, the whole idea of creating new value means entrepreneurs literally make something that didn't exist before. Third, that unique combination of resources, well, that's their secret sauce. It's about putting people, money, and ideas together in a totally new way. And finally, none of it matters without the ability to spot and then really go after an opportunity. Okay, so now we know what it is, let's talk about who does it. And here's where it gets interesting. You don't actually have to start a company from your garage to be an innovator. And that brings us to two key players, the entrepreneur and the intrapreneur. So here's the classic matchup. On one side, you have the entrepreneur, right? The founder building it all from scratch, facing all the risk for a shot at all the reward. But on the other side, you've got the intrapreneur. You can kind of think of them as running a startup inside a big company. They get to use existing resources to launch something new, which usually means lower personal risk, but it's also a totally different kind of game. Now, beyond where they innovate, we also have to look at why. Because people are driven to start businesses for completely different reasons. You have opportunity entrepreneurs who are literally pulled toward a gap they see in the market. They just can't resist it. And then you have necessity entrepreneurs who are pushed into it, maybe because they can't find work anywhere else. Both paths can absolutely lead to success, but you can imagine their starting points are worlds apart. So what does it really take to pull this off? You know, if you could look inside the DNA of a successful entrepreneur, what would you actually find? That's what we're going to do now. We're unpacking their essential toolkit of characteristics.
You know, it all starts in your head with the mindset. You have to be a visionary, seeing what could be, not just what's right in front of you. But look, a vision without creativity is really just a daydream. You need that dose of optimism to truly believe it's possible. And you have to be constantly alert to opportunities that everyone else just walks right by. And the fuel for all of this? A deep, undeniable passion for what you're building. But a mindset alone isn't enough, right? You have to turn those thoughts into action. And that takes real skills. You've got to be persuasive enough to get investors, customers, and employees on board. You have to be a relentless promoter of your idea. And you have to be decisive enough to make the tough calls, even when you don't have all the information. But really, it all comes down to one of their most important jobs, being a master resource assembler, just finding and pulling together all the people, the money, and the tools to make it all happen. And finally, there's that internal engine, the drive that just keeps them going when things get tough. This is all about being motivated by the achievement itself, not just the money. It's having the self-confidence to push through all the doubt and, of course, a crazy strong work ethic. And notice this. This is really key. They're moderate risk takers, not reckless gamblers. It's all about calculated risks, and it's all fueled by a really high sustainable level of energy. So, we've defined what it is. We've unpacked the DNA of who does it. But this brings us to the biggest question of all. Why does any of this matter? And the answer is pretty simple. It matters to every single one of us. So here's the big picture. On a massive scale, entrepreneurship is basically the engine of our economy. It's the force that drives disruptive change, that creates brand new markets out of thin air, and generates the wealth that can lift up entire communities. In that economic engine, it creates this incredible ripple effect. See, entrepreneurs don't just build businesses. In a way, they build societies. They create new jobs, which helps develop communities. Their innovations can spark huge social change. And I mean, think about it. They're the ones who pioneer the new industries and technologies, from the smartphone in your pocket to the shows you stream, that completely change how we all live.
But it isn't all just about the greater good. What's the personal payoff for all that risk and all those long nights? Well, it's that profound freedom to chase your own vision. It's having control over your own life, your own time. It's that incredible sense of fulfillment you get from building something that's yours. And yeah, it's a journey of nonstop learning with the potential to earn way beyond a typical salary. This quote really just nails it, because when you strip everything else away, at their core, entrepreneurs are problem solvers. They see an issue in the world, they develop a new idea or a new solution, and they have that relentless drive to turn it into something real that can benefit all of us. So we'll leave you with this thought. You have the framework now. You know what entrepreneurship is, you know who does it, and you've seen the incredible impact it has. So the only question left is the one right here on the screen. What opportunity will you pursue?